In the previous video, we learned that division can be written as multiplication. So today we want to talk about how we can use canceling to simplify multiplication. We've used prime factors to put fractions in simplest terms. And so now what we want to do is we want to take what we already know about factors and simplify and save ourselves some steps. So here we have a question where it's 2 over 9 times 17 over 2. Now, normally we would just multiply straight across with the numerators and multiply straight across with the denominators, and we would get 34 over 18. Now, we can look at these using our divisibility rules and realize that these are both even numbers. So we're going to have to at least divide by 2 in order to simplify. So when we divide by 2, we get 17 over 9. So we could have simplified this actually one step sooner if we had used what we know about factors. So let me show you what I mean. Same problem that we have, but now if you notice there's a 2 on the top and there's a 2 on the bottom. What if I cancel those out? Because look, if you look, 2 will divide into itself one time. 2 will divide into itself one time. So we can cancel off a 2 on the top and a 2 on the bottom, and then we multiply straight across, we get 17 over 9, which is exactly the same as what we got when we, in the previous slide, only we can simplify it before we get to the end. Now when we get to the end, our fraction will already be as simple as it can be. So in multiplication, anything on top can be divided out with anything on the bottom. You can cancel as long as they're factors of each other. So let's look at another example. 8 over 5 times 15 over 4. Normally you would multiply straight across and you would get 120 over 20. Well, you and I both know that is not in simplest terms. So let's look at it a different way. Let's see what happens when we simplify first before we multiply. All right, so 8 over 5 times 15 over 4. Now you might notice that 4 and 8 are factors of each other. So 4 will go into itself one time, and 4 will go into 8 two times. So notice I cancel off the 4, and I put the little 1 there as a reminder to myself, and I cancel off the 8 and realize that I divided it by 4 two times. Well, you might also notice that 5 and 15 are factors. So 5 will divide into itself one time, and 5 will divide into 15 three times. So now I have much smaller numbers that I have to deal with. So what I'm really going to multiply is a 2 over 1 times 3 over 1. And that's why I have these little numbers that I write as a little note to myself. So now I multiply straight across, and I get 6 over 1. And we know that 6 over 1 is the same as 6. Now, here's where I say you could actually save yourself a step. We could have, instead of rewriting these fractions, we could have simply multiplied straight across here, recognizing that the reason why we put these little numbers here is so that we know we have to multiply them together. So 2 times 3 gives me 6, and 1 times 1 gives me 1. By simplifying first, you can notice that we have much smaller numbers to deal with. And when we get to the end, we don't have to worry about whether it's in lowest terms because we know that it will be because we've already simplified. Now, I have to mention a huge word of caution. You cannot, I mean cannot, use canceling with addition and subtraction. You only use it when you're multiplying. 2 over 1 plus 1 over 4. So don't be tempted by that 2 and that 4 to cancel off, because I know that sometimes it's like it's so much fun to cancel things off that you're going to want to do it, but you got to look at that sign in the middle first. So what happens if we do? That's what happens, so don't do it. I'm going to show you something about if you were to do that, and I'm going to show you why it doesn't work. Now, 2 over 1 plus 1 over 4. Let's pretend that you were going to cancel and you were going to say 2 divided by itself, 2 divided by 2 will go once, and 4 divided by 2 will go twice. And you're thinking, you're so proud of yourself, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and get 1 plus 1/2. Yay, 1 plus 1/2 is 1 1/2, I'm done. But, and this but is a very big word, 2 over 1 plus 1 over 4 is the same thing as 2 plus 1 over 4, which is 2 1/4. Those are not the same. They do not equal the same thing. So don't do that. That will give you an incorrect answer. So remember to only cancel with multiplication. And that's our lesson on canceling to simplify with multiplication.